What up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, man. I have gotten absolutely nothing done on the Blazer. Spent the weekend just kind of hanging out and, like I said, doing absolutely nothing. But today's another day, man. Now we got to pick back up on this thing. And some of our fittings came in. I'm still waiting on my Y fitting. You guys remember the talk that we had about how I want to run my fuel system now on the Blazer? And the Y fitting up here that's going to split off to the two fuel rails. That's the only piece still remaining that I'm waiting for to come in. But I did get my tight radius 90-degree fittings. And I just want to show you guys these things. These things are freaking dope! Alright, so this is a standard 90-degree. There they are side by side. And as you can see, you'll just be able to fit this in a little bit of a tighter spot. It gives you a little bit more clearance to jam a 90-degree fitting in. Anyhow, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Like I said, I am waiting for that fitting to come in. We can start on running the feed line. So we have the feed line from the fuel filter that we have to run all the way up, and then that's got to connect to that Y, but we can get it up into the engine bay at least. I don't know, another problem is I'm really afraid of running out of line. I don't want to run out of line. I have a whole 20 foot left, but I got to run back to the fuel cell twice, and I still need to make the little jumps and stuff from the fuel rails and everything. So I just got to be careful not to run out of fuel line, because that would suck. Oh, I still have to make a damn bracket for mounting our fuel pressure regulator. As a matter of fact, I think that's where we should probably start. Alright, so I'm going to end up mounting this about centered of my fuel rail here. What I'm wanting to do is actually mount it to this piece of aluminum that we made to hold the fuel rails down. But what I'm going to end up having to do is cut a section right here and bend this tab back up straight so I have something to bolt that onto. That's going to be the easiest way instead of having to actually completely fabricate a whole nother one. Alright, pressure regulator is mounted and moving on, because look what came in the mail. And this thing is a lot freaking smaller than what I was expecting it to be. It's actually really dope, dude. I don't know why I thought this thing was going to be ginormous, but literally fits in the palm of my hand. Now we have the missing piece to the puzzle. Well, I've been trying to kind of map out exactly how it is I'm going to do these fuel lines, and I think this makes the most sense, because I've decided I am going to go ahead and bring my feed and my return through the frame down there and then run them up same way it was before. I mean, I'm not going to get away from all the damn clutter, bro. There ain't nothing I can really do about it. So but with this Y fitting, if I do it right here in the front, it's going to get real cluttered really quick if I try to center it. So what I'm going to do is just kind of put it off over here to the side, and I'm going to use one of the standard 90 degrees to go to that fuel rail, and then I have a straight down here that'll loop up to a 45 to this fuel rail. I'm running into another problem. Now I only have 3 of these. This is what actually screws into the fuel rails so that I'm able to put a fitting on it, and I only have 3 of them. So that's going to be an issue. That's going to cause me to not be able to complete this once again. The fuel rails came with those 3, and then it came with 3 that had I think -8 or -10 on the end, which I don't need, and then it came with a block off. So I'm gonna have to run down to Speedway and get a 4th one of these. Making progress, boys. So I have basically the feed is ran. I do not have it connected to the fuel filter back there. I gotta put my fitting on. all the way in the back, but it is running through the frame, and it's running down the frame all the way to the back. And then I have it coming up here to the Y, and like I had mentioned, instead of putting it in the center, I have it over here off to the side. So now we have this running straight up to this fuel rail, and then the Y's off over here and runs to this fuel rail where we're using one of those tight radius freaking 90s. Dude, those things are so dope. Now I have all my fittings basically where I need them. So we're going to be running a tight radius 90 for the return, doing a 180 right here. There's a straight here. And then I don't have them all back there, but so yeah, I'm just screwing all the fittings on for now, and then I need to grab my hose and I'm gonna start marking my hoses and just continue making my lines. And then we still have the return line to run all the way to the back, and then I'll finalize everything back there. And I gotta put our little factory brackets back on to actually hold our AN lines and stuff in place. But yeah, man, whenever I get it all finished up, I'll get underneath there and show it to you guys so you can see how it came out. I just haven't been recording the entire process because it's, you know, I've already shown you. You're just making fittings, making lines, moving forward. All right, update. It's been a while since I picked up the camera. I found a box that was full of like old fittings and stuff like that, and I luckily found another fuel rail fitting. So I didn't end up having to go to, well, if I'm being honest with you, I went to Speedway and they didn't have one. So then I came back in a desperate rage, went through all of my shit, and luckily found one here at the house. Anyhow, moving on, we got all of the fuel lines done as far as fuel rail. It's still the same. I have the feed right here off the Y, and it's going down there through the frame. I still need to connect that in the back, but I want to run my return line first. So that's the only thing up here that we have remaining, is I got to run the return down there, and it's going to swoop down and go through the frame as well. But yeah, dude, this came out pretty sick. So once again, I know I showed this earlier, but now it's complete. It comes up and it Y's off, and it goes into the fuel rail and then into the fuel rail. On the back side of this fuel rail, I used a 90 degree, one of the standard 90s, and then that swoops over. It comes up right here, and then I have it running into a 180 degree into the fuel pressure regulator, and then the back side of this fuel rail is coming out with 180, and then there's a straight going into the other side of the fuel pressure regulator. So that's it, dude. That's our whole loop. And then now I just have the return to run down, and then I got to run that down the frame and then do my final connections back there. Yay! And then all I have left now is wiring, which I still haven't looked at my shit to see if I have a fuel pump wiring kit. I'm pretty sure I had one, but whether Braven or I have gotten into it to use pieces of it or not, I don't know yet. So I got to see if I have that. But anyhow, first I'm going to finish off these lines. So now we got to run our return, and this is all of the line I have left, is this right here. So hopefully this is enough. Got the freaking line ran through the frame. Yeah, we have a whole lot of lines, so a lot of this is going to get cut off for sure. But I think, so I have everything that I need from this point forward, so I'm going to go ahead and put my little factory brackets on there temporarily. I'm not going to tighten them. I'm just going to get them up there to kind of hold it in place. Oh my god. Okay, here we go. Alright, so this is number 4. So I need numero 4. You are 3. You are number 4. And I need a bolt.
Just walking away, just, you know, doing whatever you want to do, you know.
100% grade A, good boy. 100% grade A. There's Henry! All hail King Henry! King Henry is ready to retire to his kingdom.
It's slumber.
It's time for the slumber. Bro, this light is sick, dude. I freaking love this light. Can you guys see it in a reflection? Look at this light I have on top of my camera. Bro, this shit is sick. Oh, it's really bright. Anyhow, I'm basically done for tonight. I'm as far as I can get tonight, so see you in the morning. Time to go in and get the slumber, Esquire.
After pizza.
Oh yeah, after pizza.
He's going to eat with us.
Esquire. Alright guys, it is the next morning. So I ended up finding my relay kit, which is huge. It actually wasn't that hard to find. It was just sitting on a shelf in there. This is a 40 amp relay in here. So you see universal 40 amp fuel pump relay kit. And I was looking up what this requires, and it needs at least a 30 amp relay. So this is going to be large enough. So this kit is mil spec wiring. So it is a good quality wire. Good quality packaging too. So the only problem that I'm really having here is trying to decide. So as you guys know, it's best to run your fuel pump off of your alternator to get the 14 volts. This fuel pump says high pressure, high volume, 12 volt pump delivers 110 plus gallons per hour free flow at 14 volts. Delivers 83 gallons per hour at 40 psi. It's got all the different ratings, but that's at 14 volts. So for me to run this all the way to the alternator, my fuel pump's all the way back here. Like, they are the furthest thing from one another. My plan was to run it directly off of the battery, but running it directly from the battery, of course, we're going to be getting 12 volts, not 14 volts. It would be better to run directly to the alternator. But if I was to run a wire all the way back here, all the way up there, because of the voltage drop that I would get from running that long of a wire, I would assume it's probably going to drop it down to 12 volts anyhow. Long story short, I'm just going to run this directly to the battery like I originally planned. I'm not going to try to route a wire all the way to the front of the truck, because honestly, this thing don't even have that much freaking wire. All right, and I'm trying to make things simple, and it's going to be a lot better power output than what it originally had whenever I had the in-tank pump. So, all right, so I had to swap out the ground ring terminal that came on this kit because it was a little too small. I need it to actually fit, because this is going to go directly to my battery. I need it to actually fit over the battery stud. So I swapped it out for a bigger one. And this ring terminal was for a much bigger wire, but I ended up making it work. And I think the crimp came out pretty damn clean. And speaking of crimps, I'm also going to do my power wire right now. So with the power wire, the crimp connect that they sent with the kit is actually going to work. It's the right size that I need, but I don't like I'm just going to show you guys what it is I like to do, because I don't like the plastic that comes on these crimps. I think it looks cheap, and it just, I don't know, I don't like the way it looks. So I like to kind of heat that little piece up and just go ahead and pull it off. Doink, just like that. And then instead of having that ugly ass piece of plastic on there, I'm going to take a piece of shrink wrap and I'm going to cut it down because it's too long. Slide that over my wire first. I have this style of crimping tool, and if you guys notice on all of these crimp connects, do you see how there's a split right there at the top? There's a little line right there because this piece was flat and it curls over and creates that circle. Whenever I crimp this onto my wire, I like to make sure that that little point is lined up with that, so that it crimps it in, like it crimps it in to where it kind of does this over the wire, you know what I mean? If you guys can even see me, I kind of have you all zoomed in. So I'm gonna line that up, and I like to try to hold the wire as centered as possible. So pretty much where it does that, and then what I'm going to do is squeeze this whole thing together from this direction. And then that is what you're left with. And it just, I feel like that holds the wires so much better for one, and it looks a lot nicer. And then instead of having that big old ugly piece of plastic on the back that a lot of these come with, then you just go ahead and slide your shrink wrap up over it. Get your shrink wrap all shrunk down there, buddy. Good Lord, look how much nicer that looks. Rather than having, I could have cut my shrink wrap down a little bit so it wasn't so long, but that's all right. Rather than having such an ugly little plastic piece on the end that's wide open, that can be filled with water. And now look at that. Alright, fuel system is done that I know of. We need to check it for leaks. I have a problem, and it's like it's a really stupid problem to have, but it's definitely a problem nonetheless. So I left my wallet inside of the Suburban, and Braven borrowed the Suburban this morning to take it to work. So Braven has my Suburban right now at work, and my wallet is inside of it. I need to go and get gas. I was on my way out the door to go and get some 91 octane, because that's what I'm going to run this on for now until we get injectors, because the injectors that's in here, the stock ones, I guess isn't going to handle E85 and the cam, so we are going to run it on 91 for now. So anyhow, I need to go and get gas to fill it up, because as you guys know, my fuel system's completely dry and my wallet is at Braven's job. And to be honest with you guys, I haven't posted a video at all this week, so I need to post a video up today. I know you guys are probably freaking pissed at me right now, like, dude, where the hell are you at? You said you're gonna have a video on Monday. It's now Monday, Tuesday. I think today's Wednesday. Yeah, dude, I've went all this week so far without posting a video, and it's because every day that I've started working on this damn thing, I've needed something else. I've needed a fitting. I've needed this. I've needed that. So it's just put me behind, and I didn't want to break off of this and do anything else. I wanted to stay on this until I got it done. So we finally got it done. So unfortunately, we're not going to get a first start today. I can't even check to see if the fuel system's leaking. It's already 5 o'clock, and I need to get in there and edit this damn video and get it up for you guys. Oh my God, dude. I thought it was 5 o'clock. It's freaking 6:30 already. Which means Braven's not even at work. He's at the gym. Son of a bitch. I would put it off another day, but I don't want to put it off another day. So anyhow, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys the final product. And tomorrow's video is going to be the most exciting, because we're going to finally check and make sure that the fuel system has no leaks. And then I need to mess with the Holley Terminator and do some booping and stuff as far as cam durations and all that kind of stuff, those settings. And then we're going to fire this thing up for the first time and see what it sounds like, and make sure I didn't make any mistakes. Anyhow, guys, this is how it came out, and I will see you tomorrow.